Hi, everybody. We welcome back Alla Kurolapnik, a divorce attorney with focus on mediation. Alla, welcome back to our podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you because you are unique in that you advocate for mediation, which is a much more peaceful, less stressful solution to getting a divorce than going to a full-blown court case, and that could get very protracted, very lengthy, very costly, whereas mediation could lessen its severity and its impact. And we talked in our previous session about what happens if there's division of assets and the other party is maybe trying to hide assets, not to divide them properly, not to pay their alimony, their child support, which brings us to the next issue, an issue of income. And sometimes I see it left and right. I see it where one spouse has the capability, the capacity to make money, to have income on purpose. They don't work, or they try to find a lesser job that doesn't pay as much, just so that down the road they pay less in child support, perhaps in maintenance, in alimony. What happens in such cases where you have such a spouse, and how mediation can have a role in it so you do get your spouse to pay their fair share?
So the New York courts are giving the authority to do something called impute income to that spouse.
Okay.
Child support and maintenance in New York are both, they're based on a formula. So they're formulatic. And the child support is based on, once you determine what the formula is, let's say you have an income, you then look at the needs of the child. And the court is also given the discretion or the power to deviate from the formula if you can see that the child's needs are met by the number that is determined with the formula. The formula utilizes both the parent's income, capped at a certain number, which changes every couple of years, adjusted for the cost of living adjustment, and then it's based on a percentage of that income. It's prorated and shared between the parties on a percentage basis.
Provided that the spouse is working and actually making the money,
correct.
Right?
Right. So what the law is empowered with is to say that it's not so much your current earnings that we could base it on, but it's your earning potential. So if you are Tom Brady and you have been making millions and millions of dollars playing, football, and all of a sudden you want to teach and be a coach at a high school and teach football, right? The question is why, and what more can you do with the skills that you have to be able to earn more money commensurate with what you've been earning during the lifetime of the marriage. So that's fair. The law of it, right? The question now becomes, how do you want to play that? So whether or not this is discoverable in court in front of a judge, where you have to put forth evidence then, and quite frankly, utilize the services of perhaps a vocational expert, which is an expert that can pretty much determine how much someone in your age group with your educational background and with your career background is capable of earning today had you utilized the skills that you had. Okay. And these people interview the person, then they look at comparables across the United States, comparable individuals with the same background, and see how much what your earning capabilities are. And based on that number, and you can present that to a judge, and then again, leave that all in the hands of a judge to decide. Or you can take that information and sit down with your spouse in mediation and try to work out a settlement. Now, I don't know whether or not you'll ever, as a mediator, I can't say that I've ever, you know, a spouse that comes in with these concerns, right? I don't know if I'll ever put their mind to rest about whether or not their spouse has something extra, could make something extra. But I can say that we can explore it together in mediation. We can
Perfect.
see what the earnings have been throughout the marriage. And instead of investing the money, time being paid to, you know, in court, trying to litigate what would be the right amount of to impute to someone, discuss that between the spouses and determine, work backwards, what would be the right dollar amount to be able to support your children,
Right.
and work backwards from there.
This is a great mechanism because, like you said, if you go to litigation, an actual court case about your divorce, let's say you want to prove your spouse is not making as much as they should be, and you want to impute income to them, it becomes very expensive because you have to have experts to actually analyze it, analyze their diploma, their earning capability. And for the other spouse, it's also costly to defend against that and say, listen, like you said, I'm Tom Brady. I want to retire from football a few years and become a coach. Is this a rational decision? Not rational? What is he trying to do exactly? Is he trying to cheat or not? So that could be very costly. Whereas in mediation, the role of attorneys like yourself and mediators is to shed some light on this process to both parties and nudge them towards a peaceful resolution so that the winners are them and not the attorneys that would get big legal fees in the court battle, but let the winners be this couple that is trying to move on to their next stage in life. Oh, did
Right.
I summarize it correctly?
Yeah, the one thing I'm going to add to that, Michael, is also, you know, there's the gamble factor, because you can present the best case in the world and have all of your evidence about what the, you know, spouse's earning capabilities are, what the trend of the income has been throughout the duration of the marriage. And you're still leaving that decision process to a third party who doesn't know you or your spouse. So there's always a risk gamble. And that's why we have the appellate process here, because judges make wrong decisions. They can do that too. It can happen.
And that's also very, very time consuming and expensive. And the
That is absolutely correct. And that's why even when you think you have, you know, like the winning card in your pocket and you're like, aha, I've got it now. Now the judge will see. It's still a gamble. The best thing you can do is present that to your spouse in a setting where you could say, look, this is where we are. If I bring this to the judge, there's a likelihood that this may happen. And I know you have this. So why not utilize what money we're going to save in fighting about this for our children? Because if it's support we're fighting over, then let's figure out how we're going to be able to not change their lifestyle, because your divorce shouldn't affect your children's lifestyles.
Alla, again, thank you so much for spending the time. We're trying to educate the public because unfortunately, divorce is here. It's here to stay. There's a big percentage of couples who at some point decide to separate. And I'm glad that we have this mechanism, mediation, that you are heavily involved in, that helps the process go a little bit more smoother so that people can move on to the next stage of their lives. And again, we're giving only general information here. If somebody wants specific legal advice on their situation, I encourage you to call a number on the bottom of the screen to the office of Alla Kurolapnik, an experienced divorce attorney with focus on mediation. And let's see if Alla can help somehow resolve your case in a more peaceful and more beneficial manner to you. Alla, thank you so much. And we're going to bring you back next time with more questions on divorce and matrimonial and family law. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
Have a good day.
Michael. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.